And welcome back to part 5 of my video tutorial looking at Microsoft Word 2016 and the basics. Today I'm going to be looking at the Reference tab. So let's get straight down to it, starting from left to right. Your first option is table of contents. So obviously we need some text in there before we can do a table of contents on the information. So we need to create some text, so you can create a table of contents of what's in your document. Actually I'm going to do a bit more than that, so I'm going to add 90 paragraphs, so it goes all the way down. Then Control Home, go straight to the top again. So I've got 7 pages, click on the beginning. Now before I can do a table of contents, I need some headers. So the table of contents can jump there. If I click on any one of these options, it will come up no table of contents. So you need to add your headers. Click the little arrow and select remove table of contents. So I need to go to home. I need to create some headers. So I'm going to do one there. I'm just kind of doing randomly, just create some pretend headers. So there we go, got 4. Now highlight them, and that's when you create your headers up here. So I can choose headers here. Remember when I showed you in my video tutorial part 1, I'm just going to use the first one. Again, highlight, create your headers all the way down, and there's all my headers done for those paragraphs. Click back on the beginning. Now if I go back to references, I now can create my table of contents. I can choose automatic default ones there, or if I go custom table of contents, I can create a custom one. And to do that, there's my print preview. If I come down here, I can decide, actually I don't want the numbers, just the heading names. I can align it right and not have the little tab leaders in between if I do not want to, or with the tab leaders you can choose hyphens or whatever you want there. Also general, you can do it from format, from template, or choose a simple format or formal. Play around with that to get what you want. Here on the right you've got a web preview, so it says use hyperlinks instead of page numbers. So web preview, when you click on it, it'll go straight there instead of page numbers. So I would leave that as hyperlinked. So let's give it a go. Click OK, and there's my table of contents. Obviously everything's on page 1 because that's all I've created in headers. Also remove your table of contents with the option here if you do not require it, as so. But I'm going to go back. Also if you click into your table of contents, click back to table of contents and go to custom, you might want to quickly change it to a different format. You might want to go back to template, click OK, click yes to replace, then you can change your table of contents quickly using that option as well. And I use the update option. You can also use the update option in the table of contents there. Or if you want, you can include the current headings in the table of contents if you required as well. Which brings us to footnotes. Now you use footnotes normally if you're using humanities or law or Scholar, for example, reference styles. Now you don't normally get those reference styles in your style options in citations and bibliography. So what you need to do is find out your reference style for a Scholar or humanities and then type it out in a footnote. But let me show you how that works quickly anyway. So say there's some work you're doing and you now need to create footnotes and reference your work. So click on the end and click insert footnote. And see at the bottom of that page it creates a footnote for you. So they can read that information, go to the bottom, and then you can type in your reference style. And again, I'm just making up that reference style, but you find out what your Scholar or your MHRA footnote reference style is, then you can add the information in that way at the bottom. So then as you go through your work, you might come across here and then you need to cite some more work there. Again, you add another footnote. And again, it's number 2 and you add your information under there, so when they read it, they can go to corresponding numbers, go to the bottom of the page and check where you got that quote from. If you just click next footnote, it jumps you to the next footnote, or click previous footnote, will jump you to the previous footnote. And that works for endnote and previous endnote. Now endnote is not the endnote you're thinking of, it's a separate program where it helps you to do your citations and bibliographies. Endnote here, for example, if I click on here, you might want to add and insert endnote there, which is a bit of information regarding the document. It could be I need to do more research at that point. So endnote's not what you think endnote, so let me explain. Endnotes, so you can add your own notes regarding your document or your work. It could be a reference that you need to go back to, or a link, or something you need to do within the document. It's not actually your reference. So this enables you to create little notes to yourself in your document that you might need to do, for example, more information or comment. So you might be going through your work, you've added your endnotes, but you've come to the end of the document here, paragraph, you think I need to add an endnote to add more information. It could be I need to research further, or whatever note you want. So I've clicked Control Home to go back to the beginning. You then have all your footnotes for your referencing 1, 2, but you also have your option there for your own information. You can jump to those by clicking Next Footnote but selecting Next Endnote, and there it is. Tap on the endnote and it goes straight down to the bottom. Hover over, see a little icon come up there, and you see a little thing pops up telling me I need to do research further. If I just double tap on that, it brings me straight down to that endnote with your information. So look at it as kind of a placeholder, if you like, so you can add information in your document you might need to work more on. And if you don't want them, not a problem, just click into them, click backspace, and it's gone. And if we scroll to the bottom, I'll do Control End. You see the endnote disappears as well. And click Show Notes will jump to your footnotes or your endnotes in your document. In this case, I've only got them on page 1 for my footnotes. So there you've got table of contents and your footnote options, which brings us to citations and bibliography. So what I'm going to do is go to the end of the document, clear this up a little bit, and just have one page. Let's say you're doing a dissertation, you're writing an essay, you need to use the reference system Harvard. Or maybe you're doing psychology, so you need to do 6th edition American Psychology. So you're working away and you find, actually this is a quote from a book, and put it in quotes if it's a direct quote, but always check with your reference style. Now I've got APA, which is finally to insert citation, but what I'm going to do is add a new placeholder first. Now this is a placeholder just giving you information that you need to add information. Might not have the source yet, but I do recommend getting that as you're going along and adding it rather than doing it at the end. It can get a bit complicated, but if you don't know it, then pop it in there, and it might be book 1. Click OK, and you can see in the document there it adds it in brackets book 1, so you need to go back to it. And when you find a reference, tap on it, click the drop down menu, and then you can edit the source by adding the information for APA. Click back on it, you can convert that to static text, which means it's just text, you can't click on it, and then you can do what you want with it, including delete it. We've got style, click insert citation and add new source. So you've got the source, let me drag that down, so you need to add the information for that quote. Author, first option, click edit, put the last name in. I should just make this up and click add. If it's another author, you can add it again. Click OK. Just a word of advice though, go to type of source. When I click the drop down menu, it does give you different types of sources, and obviously you need to choose the correct one to do the correct referencing. Book section is book, they're split with different authors, so each chapter might have a different author. So make sure you choose the correct source. It's no good actually using just the book source for a book section because you're referencing wrong. But in this case, I'm pretending it's a book. Check whether or not you've got corporate author. So title of the book. Use tab to go down quickly. See I'm in year, go to the bottom, gives you an example what format to put that in. And again, city and publisher. With Harvard you normally have to put edition in and that, so make sure you're using the correct reference style. And publisher, I'm just going to put in works. Now if it's not showing all your fields and you've got a particular APA you need to use, that is the standard 6th edition. Select show all bibliography fields, scroll down. Everything that you can see that's got a red star indicates they're the recommended fields. But your lecturer or teacher might want you to put in editor, for example, and then you can type editor in. Have a little scroll down, so check that, really important. But I'm going to untick that, and I'm just going to click OK. See, it's created the citation for me. Click on it. If it's a direct quote from a book, click the drop down arrow and select edit citation, and that way you can pop in a number. Let's say it was page number 45. In edit citation you can even suppress the year in your citation if you want, and the author and title, but I'm fine with that. And there's my perfect citation for APA. Click back on it. If you made a mistake with the source, then choose the second option down, edit source. Then you can change any fields that you might have done wrong. Also, you can choose convert citations to static text. That just makes it a standard text. You can't click on it and then edit citation or edit source. It doesn't become active. And it also won't create your bibliography reference at the end. So now I've created it, finished all my work, click the cursor at the end, I can then create my bibliography or reference style. Left click it, choose your reference style, and it's done at the bottom in APA. And it does it in alphabetical order for you as well. Also, if you go up to manage sources, any sources you've used in the past will be added here. So you might go down and go, actually I need to use NHS one again, copy it over. Might need Shakespeare, copy that over. You might also need that Shakespeare, copy that over. If you can't find what you're looking for, you could always type it in there as well, and you can see it brings it up in the list there for you. And also, if you click on one, underneath it gives you a preview of the source. So I've copied a few over there. So now I could go through my work and just imagine I put quotes around them. If direct quotes, I could go, right, I need to cite that. So I come back up to here, click insert citation, choose from my current list and pop it in. I might go, I need my other citation there, and I think you get the idea with this. And click through it, add in your citations. And it's done. So if I get rid of that, backspace, create my new one in APA, reference style, and there you go. Creates it in alphabetical order for me at the bottom of my work in APA. Click back on it, we can even change that to Harvard. And there's the Harvard referencing system. You can see how the fields have changed. You can get humanities as well to import into footnotes, but it's not that tidy, but give that a go anyway. Also manage sources. Any of these sources you don't want, you can click on them and just click delete, or click edit and edit them. A lot of people tend to put all their sources information in first and cite their work when they start writing as they're going along, but see how you work with that. So that's your citations and bibliography. If I go back EndNote, EndNote's a separate program. You get a plugin that you can work with your references and bibliography and that. I've got a separate video tutorial with that. Have a look at my YouTube channel. Now we're coming to captions. So let's get rid of this, tidy it up a bit. Click on the end, highlight all, and just deletes it, backspace. Now this enables you to cross-reference and do a table of figures for pictures. We know we can do that with text and paragraphs and headings. So let me put a few pictures in here. So I'm going to go put a cursor there, go to insert, and I'm going to add an online picture. I haven't seen one of them in a while. I've got Betamax. I actually used to have one. That's the exact one I used to have. Right, click insert. I'm going to just minimise that and drag it where I want. Now you can see it's a bit messy, isn't it? This is where you click to the right and you can use word wrapping. So if I click to the right, I'm just tidying that. That looks better. Let's come down this document. Let's add another one. So insert, and I'm going to add another online picture. Let's do VHS this time. And that would do lovely. Insert. Drag that down. And again, don't forget to use your word wrapping where you want it. So I'm going to hold the left button, drag that more. There we go, that's better. Now, we can create a table, we can create a figure of contents, click references, by using this option here. So, first click on your first caption or picture, and select insert caption. What do I want to call that? Figure 1. You can choose a different label for it, because you've got to number it, table, tester. Or you can even add your own one if you want. Or you can select new label and add your own label if you want. You might call it PIC1 or whatever. But I'm going to leave it as figure 1. Whether I want the text below or above. I want the text below to say figure 1 underneath the picture. I can use a numbering system if I want. That numbering system's fine. You might prefer alphabetical, it's up to you. Click OK. And there's figure 1. Though I do want that in the middle, so why don't I just centre that quick. So this is going to be figure 2, and it'll do it for you automatically. So insert caption, figure 2, happy with that, click OK. And again you can centre that. On your shortcut key, Control E will centre that as well. Definitely worth learning in these shortcuts. Say I want to create a table of figures, so someone can look at my document and see all my pictures and captions and jump to them straight away. We do that by using the option Insert Table of Figures. And here we go. What format would we like? We can change the format. So, show page numbers we can. If you've got more than one page number, definitely worth doing. Right align page numbers, and you see it takes away the tab leader. You can even change the tab leader to hyphens or whatever you want, or you just might prefer you don't want them. But I like the tab leader to spread it. You can choose general template, so you might want more of a simple format at the top, as so. Or you might want classic. But I'm going to just do it from the original template. Caption label, we know is figure. Can change it, but I've got figure there anyway, so I'm going to leave figure as it is. And you can include label and number, which you want figure 1 and all the way down. On the right here is a web preview, how you see on the web. Again, it does it blue, so it's hyperlinked. So instead of page numbers, you click on it and it goes straight to that link as a hyperlink. If you click off it, it will just be like a standard document one. But I want to leave that as hyperlinks. So have a look, click OK, and there we go. Table of figures. If I hold the left button, click on it, it will jump to corresponding pictures. So that's the first option. The second option, you can cross-reference text to a picture. So someone might be reading an article and you want them to jump straight to a picture caption within your document, so we can do that as well with cross-reference. So if I click, for example, at the end of themes, do a space, and I'll click cross-reference. Let me drag that over so you can see that. So what's the reference type? Well, if I scroll down, it's figure, because I've added figure 1, figure 2. Then it will show me my document, all the figures I have, which is 2 pictures at the top, figure 1 and figure 2. So it's a hyperlink or standard text one. It's a hyperlink, so you can hold control and left click and jump to that point as well. Insert reference to entire caption, and you can choose which format or page number. I'll do entire caption, so when I click insert, you see it's giving me figure 1 at the top. Click close. So if I hover over that, see it's now got a hyperlink, hold control and click on it, it jumps straight to the picture above. Just a great way to cross-reference your captions and your pictures in a document, so it's not just your text that you can cross-reference. So let's have a look what we've looked at so far. Table of contents, footnotes, citations and bibliography. Quick point about citations and bibliography: if you can't find your reference style, have a look at my videos on YouTube channels. It shows you how to install them, different ones if you need them, and insert captions. Next is your index option. Now with your index button, you can index words and information within your document. Let me show you what I mean. So I've just added 50 paragraphs. Control home takes me back to the top. So I've got 5 pages. So say I want to index the word video. What I'll do is highlight the word I want to index, double tap it, and select mark entry, and this window will pop up. So it's video, I need a sub entry, so I might have all my video under video recording section. Options, current page, I could do cross-reference, page range. I can change page number format if I want to bold and italic. But I'm going to click mark, or I can select mark all, that will mark all the words. That will mark all the words video in my whole document. Click on it and you can see how it's marked it all. Now if I click close, I've marked all the words I want in my document. And you can see it's bringing up my formatting options here. If I go to home, and there's my button here that shows me where my new paragraphs are and other hidden formatting symbols. Go back to reference, so what we'll do is now click Control N to go to the bottom of the document. I can now select Insert Index. Now I can choose a format I want here. I'll leave it as it is. I could do it from template, I could do a fancy one if I want, or bulleted. But I'm going to leave it from template and select OK. Now if I go back to home and unselect that, and you can see my list of video and how many pages of video is in. So it's in 4 pages out of 5, and it's under video recording. And that's a quick index in your document. So I'm going to get rid of that, backspace it, which leaves us last but not least a table of authority. So I want to do Control Home, go to the top, and this is table of authorities, lists all the references in a legal document and number of pages the reference appears on. So if you're doing legal documents, this is a really handy option. So what I need is some citations, legal, so I'm just going to put one in there as a demo. That would do as a legal citation. So what I'm going to do now is use this option here, so I can highlight the legal citation, and what it's doing is create a list for you. Click Mark Citation and it brings up in the window. So then you can mark all your citations. So if you've got more legal citations, click next. Here we go to each one. You can create a short citation if you want. Click mark, and it marks it. Then click close. Now if I scroll down, so if I click Control End, take me to the bottom, and I'll select Insert Table of Authorities. This window pops up, and you can see this popped up earlier when I also used Mark Entry as well, but give me different options, and I can choose what category it was in. So you might have been doing treaties, regulation, cases. Click OK, and it selects at the bottom for me. Go back to Home, unselect that option there, and there it is listed and where it is. So a little play with that table of authorities and index. A lot of people don't use them. They're kind of hidden away in the reference section, but some really handy options in there.